Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Disney Toy Box Captain Hook and Peter Pan. And originally, I was kind of on the fence about reviewing these guys. I just kind of thought there wasn't that much interest in them, but then I mentioned these figures in my review for Goofy and Donald, and a couple people said they would like to see me review them, and I really want to talk about them, so here we are. Let's go ahead and get into it, starting with the packaging. It's the same packaging that we've pretty much seen on all the other Disney Toy Box figures, but one thing I just noticed when I put these figures in front of the camera was that there's some artwork behind the actual figures, and it's like some Neverland artwork. I think that is really dope, and I've never noticed any artwork on the box art for any of the other figures, so this is new to me, and I think it looks really cool, and it kind of makes me want to buy doubles of these figures so I could display them with that artwork showing, because that is really dope. Peter Pan is one of my favorite classic Disney movies. I think it's awesome, so I'm excited to have these figures. I would love to see like Revoltech or some like company, some import company, try to give us some high quality articulated Peter Pan figures, but for now this is what we got, and I'm pretty excited about them because I like this line so far. But yeah, the boxes do look nice, and aside from the artwork in the back, it's the standard box that we always see with the toy box figures. It says Disney Toy Box on the side here. We have the Disney Store logo up here. It says Peter Pan. On this one it says Hook, and then on the side of the two boxes we have some really cool looking Hook artwork and some really cool looking Peter Pan artwork, and you could see it's more like digital looking because I believe that these figures are based on the Disney Infinity game from a couple years back, and that's cool because they had like all the characters in there, so that's dope. And then on the back we get the exact same artwork, and we get a look at all the figures that came out in this set, I guess, or wave, or whatever you want to call it. And all we had was Peter Pan, Captain Hook, and then the Goofy and Donald 2-pack. So it's a pretty small wave. But anyways, the boxes do look cool and all that good stuff. And like I said, I might end up buying doubles because I like the way they look in there. But as for these ones, let's go ahead and open them up and have some fun. Okay, so here we go. Peter Pan and Captain Hook right out of the box. And I'll tell you right off the top that I think that both of these figures came out really nice. They're very impressive. The paint applications on them look really good. With Goofy and Donald, I had a lot of scuffs and imperfections. With Peter and Hook, there's really only one thing that I could point out on each of these figures that I would consider like a paint imperfection. For the most part, it's all very clean and they look really good. And let's go ahead and start off with Peter because this is the one that kind of took me by surprise. I'm really impressed with him. I was expecting that I would like Captain Hook because it's Captain Hook and he's awesome. And really, I was just getting Peter Pan to go along with him. I really didn't think much of the figure when I was looking at the promo images. But once I got him in hand, I was really surprised by how much I like him because he's a really cool figure. And, you know, obviously we're looking at these things through the lens of what they are, you know. They're just, you know, inexpensive, cool little Disney figures, nothing too crazy, nothing too complex. So looking at them that way, these are really nice. But with Peter, let me go ahead and tell you about the one flaw that I have with him, or the one problem that I had with him right away, is the skin tone. I'm not very happy with how it looks, you know. It looks like it has like a shade of gray almost, you could say. It doesn't look as vibrant as even Captain Hook. You can see the difference there. I really wish that the skin tone on Peter matched Hook's. I think that would have been better. And I almost want to repaint it. I mean, I could live with it. It's not like I hate it or anything, but I just think it would look better if it was a little bit more vibrant and less zombie-ish looking. But yeah, aside from that, I think the figure is really nice. I'm very happy with it. As far as the one paint imperfection goes that I was mentioning earlier, right here on the eye, you could see that the paint missed a little bit from where it was supposed to be. So a little bit of the eye paint design is actually on the cheek, but it's very little, and just looking at the figure straight on, you can't even tell. It's really just, you know, when you get in close and start inspecting things. So if I end up repainting it, I'll definitely fix that. But even if I don't repaint all the skin, I might touch that up if I have a paint that matches, but we'll see. But yeah, just look at this thing. It's like a perfect looking Peter Pan. He does come with a couple of accessories. He does have his little flute. I'm not sure if this is the right way that he's supposed to hold it, but it does fit in his hand without any problem, so that's awesome. And then he also has his little dagger, which fits into the sheath on his side, so that is cool. And he has no problem holding this either. Let's go ahead and stick that into his hand so he could have some fights with his arch nemesis back there. So there you go. Look, that looks good. And look at this, man. This is such a cool little figure. And, you know, the design, it is what it is. It's Peter Pan. It looks good. We have light green for the shirt, a darker green for the pants. He's got his hat and then a feather. And then his little brown shoes. And all the sculpting work is very well done on it. It all looks really good and sharp and clean. And just looks like a really nice, good cartoon version of Peter Pan. As if there's any other Disney version of Peter Pan. It's only been the animated. Ooh, but I'd be down for a live action Peter Pan movie, right? Hook was awesome. I'm sure that Disney could kill it these days with the live action Peter Pan. But anyways, yeah, this is a really nice looking figure. So let's go ahead and move on to the captain back here. Look at this thing, man. He looks really good. Let's see. Let's start off at the hat. So the hat does come off, and I like the way they did this because they put little notches in there so that it could actually like grip onto his head. So when you put it on there, if you do it right, it could pretty much stay there without falling off. See that? So that's really cool. And then he does have his sheath right here that's a loose piece. The sword fits in there with no problem. He could also hold it with no problem at all. But check that out. That's good. And as far as the one paint imperfection that I mentioned on this guy, all I saw really was on the sleeve, the paint isn't as crisp as it could have been. And that's it. Aside from that, the figure looks very clean, very screen accurate. I like the facial expression, his his evil villain mustache, the hair, the hook, of course, looks really good. Yeah, everything about it just screams Captain Hook, and it looks perfect, man. That's really, really good. And I mean, this is as good as it's going to get for a Captain Hook figure, I think. The hook looks really nice. And yeah, I'm very happy with the way both of these figures look. I think they did a really great job with the sculpt work and the paint work and just the overall design of both of them. And both of them have pretty decent articulation that's pretty functional. But we'll get into all that in just a second here. For now, let's go ahead and do some size comparisons since we pretty much already covered all the accessories. So just to recap on that, Pan comes with his flute and his dagger. Hook comes with his hat and his sword, which is removable and is able to go into that floating sheath thing there. So there you go. But let's do some size comparisons. Let's go ahead and start off with Mickey from the Disney Toy Box line and Yoda from the Disney Toy Box line. And right here, I have a bunch of these figures. I don't review all of them because I know not all of them are really worth reviewing. I think most of them are cool, but I'm not like in love with all of them. I just think some of them are cool. But as far as these four go, I think that these four are the best ones, and then followed by Goofy and Donald and Stitch and a couple other ones here and there. But these four definitely are the best the line has to offer at this point, in my opinion. And then next up, we have them alongside Marvel Legends. What is it? I always want to say the wrong thing when it comes to Spider Ham. I always want to say Spider Pig or Pizza Ham or Pizza Spider or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, here's Pan and Hook alongside the Marvel Legends Spider Ham and the Revoltech Judy Hopps. And then next up, we have them alongside the Disney Toy Box Donald and Disney Toy Box Goofy. So that works, I guess. It doesn't really matter how they scale together. And then last but not least, of course, we have Peter Pan and Hook alongside Marvel Legends Bucky Cap and Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man. And then as far as the articulation goes, we'll go ahead and start it off with Peter Pan. They both have very similar articulation setups, so nothing special really. I think they're identical. But yeah, I think the articulation is nice on both of them. So let's go ahead and take a look. So for Peter Pan, his head is on a little ball joint. Let's see if I could show it real quick. Yeah, there we go. Little ball joint, no hinge or anything, but you get some pretty decent up and down. I wish he could move his head up a little bit more for flying poses, but you know, you could still work something out. And then he could look down to about right there. And then he could look side to side. And then you have some tilt. So that's cool. Only a little bit of tilting though. And then for the torso, all we really have is a waist swivel. But the way they did his, like, it's at an angle because I guess they just wanted, I mean, the design of the belt was priority. So it looks like they put that in and then cut the waist swivel at an angle. So you can't really twist them all the way around because it stops. But you get enough. You could get enough use out of it. So it's fine. And then for the arms, they can go all the way around. There's no upper bicep swivel, but they do come out to the side to about right there. And then he has a single jointed elbow, which has a swivel. And then at the hand, we have a hinge and a swivel. And for the legs, what do we have going on here? I want to check something out. Oh yeah, okay. It looks like they're the same on all the Disney Toy Box figures, but his leg can move up to about right there, but his little, not his skirt, but, you know, the lower part of his shirt gets in the way. But he can move his leg up to about right there. Could bring him back to about right there. They could come out to the side. There is no upper thigh swivel or anything like that, but he does have a swivel at the knee, and then he also has a single joint at the knee. So they could only bend to about right there, which is about 90, so that's cool. And then for the foot, we have a hinge. The feet on these things is always really what trips me out, because there's some good movement on the feet. We have a hinge up and down, and then a rocking ankle. So yeah, Peter Pan, I mean, the articulation isn't like amazing, but you could definitely get him into some cool flying poses and some cool fighting poses. So I'm pretty happy with the articulation on this guy. It's funny because, like, you know, obviously something like Revoltech is on another level, and I'm sure they'd make a, you know, a Peter Pan or a Captain Hook much better than these. But it's like, what else really could they do? Just add some articulation and then charge us $100 more? Not $100, but, you know, like $50 or $60 more. These things are only $10 each. So for what they cost, there's a lot of good articulation in here, and you could really do a lot with them. You just gotta mess around with them and have some fun. So yeah, I think Peter Pan worked out pretty good. But let's go ahead and take a look at Captain Hook. We'll take his hat off because it'll fall off when I'm messing with it. And let's go ahead and check it out. So the head is on a ball joint, very similar to Peter Pan. So you get some tilting, you get some side to side. Could look up to about right there, but then his hair gets in the way. But I doubt that type of neck joint would allow much more movement anyways, so it doesn't really matter. You could bring his head down to about right there. No movement at the torso other than the waist swivel, which doesn't have the same problem as Peter Pan. It swivels all the way around. For the arm, you could swivel all the way around, come out to the side. That much on both sides. We have a single jointed elbow, a swivel at the elbow. He has a swivel at the hook, but let's see, is there a hinge in there too? Nah, no hinge. But on this side, he does have a hinge. There we go. And then for the legs, they're pretty hindered because of his long coat. Let's see, can't really get him out to the side, and I'm not really going to try to force it because I don't want to rip or stress the plastic in there, but it's fine. You could bring his legs forward and back to about right there, and they could go out to the side to about right there. And then his legs have a single jointed knee with the swivel just like Pan. And then the feet can come forward right there. And then they could come forward to about right there. And then you have the rocking ankle. So there you go. Good articulation on Captain Hook too. More than you would need for a character like this. I kind of wish that the hands would swivel the opposite way. You know, like on Marvel Legends figures. They have the hands that swivel like, or they hinge vertically, I guess, for a lot of their figures that come with guns and stuff. They'll make it so their hands are able to hinge vertically. I think that'd be cool on these two figures since they're both like holding swords and stuff like that. So I think that would have been cool, but you know, it is what it is. Not going to complain too much about a $10 Disney Store figure, but yeah, anyways, I think overall, I'm really happy with both of these figures. I think they did a great job with them, and I really believe that these are two of some of the best figures that the Disney Toy Box line has to offer. I think this is an awesome line. You know, if you're into Disney like I am, and there's not a whole lot of options out there for articulated action figures of Disney characters. And I think the Disney Toy Box line is doing an amazing job of fulfilling that need, you know. And I don't know if like big action figure fans are into this kind of stuff. I know like when the high quality stuff comes out, like Revoltech or like the Revoltech Judy Hopps, when she came out, there was a bunch of pictures of her floating around. When the Winnie the Pooh figure came out, people were going crazy taking pictures of Winnie the Pooh. So, you know, I'm sure there's some love out there for Disney characters, but it's kind of hard to spend $80 or $90 on, you know, like a Revoltech Disney figure when there's something out there like this that kind of fulfills the need. And you know, it's not, I'm not going to act like it's close in quality or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, these are really good figures, especially for the price, because there's not a whole lot of options out there. The only other option that's kind of close is the Revoltech stuff, but it's expensive, and it's not like they've made the same characters at this point anyways, but except for Stitch. But like if you compare the Revoltech Stitch to the Toy Box Stitch, obviously the Revoltech one is way better, but it'll cost you $400 to buy the Revoltech one. The Disney Toy Box one, you could go buy it at the Disney store today for $10. And you know, it is what it is. But anyways, I like both of these figures. I'm really enjoying this line, and I think that's it for this review. So thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace.